My friend, whenever I speak with someone about retirement, the quiet, distant horizon that feels both comforting and intimidating, I always sense a mixture of hope and uncertainty in their voice. Retirement is unlike any other financial goal. Buying a home has a timeline, funding education has a deadline, saving for a vacation has a clear target. But retirement is the moment where all your years of work, all your discipline, all your small decisions finally gather together to support you when you no longer wish to or no longer can work. That is why planning for it is not just a financial exercise. It is an emotional journey. It invites you to imagine a future version of yourself and ask, what kind of life do I want to give them? And that question, gentle, simple, profound, is where retirement investing truly begins. Before we speak about portfolios or accounts or strategies, let us begin with something deeper: the purpose of retirement planning. Retirement planning is not about escaping work. It is about securing freedom, freedom to rest, freedom to choose, freedom to enjoy your days without financial anxiety gnawing at your heart. It is about creating a future where your dignity is preserved, your days are spacious, and your decisions are guided by desire, not necessity. This is why retirement investing requires humility, foresight, and patience. The market can give many gifts, but only time multiplies those gifts in ways that feel life-changing. Let us start with the foundation, knowing how much you will need. Most beginners imagine retirement as a number $500,000, $1 million, maybe more. But in truth, retirement is not one number. It is a lifestyle. It begins with asking, what do you want your life to look like? Do you imagine quiet mornings in your home, or traveling the world, or living simply near family? Do you plan to keep working part-time, or do you dream of having no obligations at all? Retirement is personal. The clearer your vision, the clearer your financial plan becomes. But even with personal differences, there are guiding principles that help you estimate your needs. One is the retirement spending rule, which suggests that retirees often spend 70% to 85% of their working income. Another is the 4% rule, a simple guideline indicating that you might withdraw 4% of your invested portfolio each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement. These rules are not perfect, they are starting points. They give you something solid to hold on to while you build your own plan. Now, once you have a sense of the future you want, the next step is understanding the quiet force that makes retirement possible: time. Time is the greatest ally a retirement investor has. The earlier you begin, the less you have to do. The later you begin, the harder you must work. This is not punishment, it is mathematics. A single dollar invested in your 20 seconds may become $10 or $15 by retirement. The same dollar invested in your 40 seconds or 50 seconds may only double or triple. Time magnifies patience. And patience, my friend, is the heart of investing for your golden years. This is why the first practical pillar of retirement planning is consistent contributions. Not occasional, not emotional, not whenever life feels stable, but automatic, steady, disciplined contributions that continue through good years and bad. These contributions accumulate like snowflakes, tiny and delicate on their own, but powerful when they gather quietly over time. Whether your system is monthly, biweekly, or yearly, consistency is what transforms uncertainty into progress. Once you commit to contributing regularly, the next question becomes, where should you invest for retirement? And here, we step into a landscape filled with powerful tools designed specifically to support your future. In many countries, these take the form of tax-advantaged retirement accounts. Traditional retirement accounts allow your money to grow tax-deferred. You pay taxes later, when you withdraw. Roth-style accounts allow your money to grow tax-free. You pay taxes now, but never again on the gains. Employer-sponsored plans often include matching contributions, free money that accelerates your growth simply because you showed up and invested. These accounts are not luxuries, they are the foundation stones of retirement wealth. They shield your growth from taxes, they encourage long-term thinking, they reward discipline, and often they provide the simplest path to financial security. Now let us talk about investment strategy. the part that brings structure to your contributions. Retirement investing is not about chasing excitement or timing markets. It is about building a portfolio designed to grow steadily over decades. Broad stock index funds, bond funds, and diversified portfolios form the backbone of most retirement plans. Stocks provide growth, bonds provide stability, cash provides cushion. The balance between them depends on your age, risk tolerance, and emotional temperament. A younger investor with decades ahead can typically embrace a higher percentage of stocks because they have time to recover from downturns. An older investor may shift gradually toward bonds to protect against volatility. This gradual shift is called a glide path, and it ensures that your portfolio evolves as your life does. To make this journey easier, many people use target date retirement funds all-in-one portfolios that automatically adjust your allocation as you age. They begin aggressive, grow more balanced over time, and become conservative as you approach retirement. They are simple, effective, and emotionally comforting for beginners who want a hands-off approach. But even with perfect asset allocation, one more force shapes your retirement destiny more than any market: your behavior. The greatest danger to your retirement is not a recession, it is panic. It is selling at the wrong time. It is abandoning your plan because the market frightened you. Retirement investing often involves years where nothing seems to happen, followed by moments where everything accelerates. If you react emotionally during the quiet years or the frightening ones, you interrupt the compounding that powers your future. This is why retirement planning requires emotional maturity. It requires accepting that markets rise and fall, sometimes dramatically, but over decades they trend upward alongside human progress. It requires resisting the temptation to compare your journey to others. It requires holding on to your vision even when doubt whispers in your ear. Now, let us touch on the practical but emotional subject of emergency funds, because no retirement plan survives long if it is forced to cover short-term crises. Before investing heavily for retirement, build a cushion 3 to 6 months of living expenses so you do not withdraw from your investments prematurely. Early withdrawals disrupt compounding, incur penalties, and create long-term damage. An emergency fund is not just a safety net, it is a shield that protects your future self from today's uncertainties. As we continue building this foundation, we must also acknowledge the quiet but powerful role of inflation. Inflation is invisible in the moment, but over decades, it reshapes the value of everything you save. A retiree must plan for rising costs, rising healthcare expenses, and the reality that money in the future will not stretch as far as money today. This is why long-term portfolios lean toward stocks. They are one of the few assets that consistently outpace inflation over decades. Finally, my friend, let us talk about the emotional heart of retirement planning: your identity. Retirement is not only about leaving work, it is about stepping into a new phase of life with purpose and peace. Some people fear retirement because they fear losing their sense of direction. Others rush toward it without preparing mentally. But when you see retirement not as an end, but as a transition, a shift into a season of freedom, you understand why your future deserves the discipline you show today. And as we prepare for part 2, where we will explore withdrawal strategies, social benefits, healthcare planning, longevity risk, portfolio adjustments, and the psychological transition into retirement, let us pause gently here, because the true art of retirement investing begins only when you begin learning how to K7 Naruto Tamhoyet Danoi. Balance the financial side of retirement with the emotional side, because entering your golden years is not just a mathematical transition, it is a human one. A shift from accumulation to preservation, from striving to savoring, from building your life to living it fully. And my friend, when you begin learning how to honor both halves of that journey, retirement stops feeling like an unknown cliff and begins to feel like a soft, steady path you have been quietly preparing for all along. Now let us continue by exploring the strategies that guide your retirement once you finally reach it, because saving for retirement and living in retirement require different skills. The accumulation phase lasts decades. The distribution phase, the phase where you begin withdrawing from your investments, requires caution, planning, and emotional steadiness. The choices you make in these years determine whether your money lasts as long as you need it to, whether it supports the lifestyle you dream of, and whether your later life feels peaceful or precarious. Let us begin with one of the most important concepts: Withdrawal strategy. The traditional guideline many people hear is the 4% rule. The idea that you can withdraw about 4% of your portfolio in your first year of retirement, then adjust that number for inflation each year, and statistically have a high chance of your money lasting 30 years. It is a simple rule, imperfect but useful. It gives beginners a place to start. But real life is subtler. Markets rise and fall unpredictably. Inflation shifts, personal needs evolve. For this reason, many retirees adopt flexible withdrawal strategies, taking a bit less in bad years, a bit more in good years. Flexibility, not rigidity, is what extends the life of a retirement portfolio. Another major pillar of retirement planning is Social Security or national pension benefits, which provide predictable income that does not rely on market performance. The timing of when you choose to claim these benefits carries enormous consequences. Claim early and you receive smaller monthly payments for life. Claim later and your monthly payments increase significantly. For many people, delaying benefits, especially until full retirement age or age 70, provides a powerful form of longevity insurance. It guarantees higher monthly income at a time when market fluctuations can feel more stressful. But retirement is not only about withdrawing money. It is about protecting yourself from the risks that grow more prominent with age. One of the biggest is longevity risk, the possibility of outliving your savings. This is not a small concern. As medical advances extend life expectancy, more people are living well into their 90 seconds. A retirement that once lasted 20 years may now last 30 or 40. Preparing for this requires thoughtful planning, a diversified portfolio, careful withdrawal strategy, and in some cases, tools like annuities that provide guaranteed lifetime income. Annuities are not for everyone, but for some retirees, they offer emotional stability by removing the fear of running out. Another major risk is healthcare costs, especially long-term care. Healthcare expenses in retirement can be unpredictable and overwhelming if unplanned for. This is why healthcare accounts, supplemental insurance, and long-term care planning become essential. Many investors underestimate this risk because it feels uncomfortable to think about, but acknowledging it early allows you to build a cushion that protects your dignity later in life. Now let us speak about portfolio adjustments in retirement, because the asset mix that served you well while building wealth may not serve you equally well while preserving it. In retirement, your portfolio faces a new threat: sequence of returns risk. This occurs when a retiree experiences market downturns early in retirement while taking withdrawals. Even if long-term averages remain favorable, poor timing can shrink a portfolio faster than expected. To protect against this, retirees often maintain a buffer, cash, or short-term bonds to cover 1 to 3 years of withdrawals. This buffer allows you to avoid selling investments during downturns, giving your portfolio time to recover. Another method of protection is shifting part of your portfolio into more stable assets as you age, while still keeping enough exposure to stocks to outpace inflation. Too conservative, and your money may not grow enough. Too aggressive, and volatility may threaten your withdrawals. Retirement is a balancing act between preservation and growth. Now, let us take a gentler step into the psychological side of retirement, the part most financial guides ignore, but every retiree eventually confronts. When you have spent your entire adult life working, saving, and striving, entering retirement can feel disorienting. Your identity shifts, your routine changes, you move from earning money to spending money. For some people, this transition brings joy. For others, it brings anxiety. You may feel guilty withdrawing money you spent decades accumulating. You may fear running out, even when the numbers say you will be fine. You may feel a sudden emptiness without the structure work provided. This emotional transition is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of humanity, and acknowledging it allows you to navigate it with compassion. Many retirees find comfort in part-time work, volunteering, hobbies, or creative pursuits. Some find meaning in mentoring, community engagement, or travel. Retirement is not the end of contribution, it is the beginning of freedom to contribute in ways that nourish your soul. Let us now talk about lifestyle planning, because financial security alone does not create a fulfilling retirement. A great retirement has rhythm choices that bring joy, relationships that bring warmth, routines that bring purpose. Some retirees flourish when they continue learning, Others thrive when they simplify their life. Some find joy in downsizing, freeing themselves from the burdens of maintenance. Others prefer to stay in the home where memories live. Retirement planning must honor both your financial needs and your emotional needs. An often overlooked part of retirement is estate planning. Creating a will, understanding beneficiary designations, establishing trusts if needed, preparing healthcare directives. These allow you to shape your legacy with clarity rather than leaving difficult decisions to loved ones. Estate planning is not about money. It is about kindness. It spares your family stress during vulnerable times and ensures your wishes are respected. As we near the close of this guide, let us bring all these elements: withdrawal strategies, longevity protection, healthcare planning, emotional readiness, lifestyle design, estate considerations into a single gentle truth. Retirement is not something you stumble into. It is something you grow into. It is the culmination of decades of intention. And when planned with heart and discipline, it becomes not a phase of decline, but a season of rest, meaning, and renewal. And now, my friend, as we set down this chapter, allow me to leave you with a warm reminder. Your golden years are a gift you give yourself through the choices you make today. If these insights brought you comfort or clarity, share your reflections in the comments. They may guide someone walking the same path. And if these lessons feel like a steady companion on your journey to lifelong financial peace, consider subscribing so each new guide arrives like a gentle hand on your shoulder, reminding you that your future deserves the patience and love you invest into it now.